evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Motor City Mad Mouth Show. My name is Scott Morgan. Rough, you guys at the Motor City Mad Mouth, along with my co-host Steve Ballesteri. What's going on, Steve Marino?
Hey, how you doing, my friend? It's always a great day in the neighborhood when I get to talk to you.
It's always a great day in the neighborhood when I get to talk to you, too. Guess what? Our neighborhood is going to expand to Japan and Turkey and everywhere else we can take it. And we're going to add new dimensions to the show every week. So let's go to Japan first. Now, Japan has over 3.5 million vending machines. They're on sidewalks, stations, mountains, even remote villages. They don't just sell snacks and drinks, also have t-shirts, toys, umbrellas, and more. And they're quietly solve real world problems across the country. This is how Japan built a unique vending machine empire that transformed daily life. What are your thoughts about the vending machine, Steve?
That leave it to the Japanese. I mean, they're very industrious, smart people, and I've heard this in the past. They have vending machines for everything, and
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. I mean, how can you argue with that?
Yeah, no doubt. Well, get this. Businesses needed a way to serve customers without staff. That's why vending machines became the answer. I'll continue the theme. They they started simple, okay? They had drinks and then they had train tickets and they expanded into hot meals, umbrellas, batteries, and even t-shirts. Continue on. Japan was a perfect place. They had low crime, high trust, advanced tech, the ideal mix for unattended commerce to thrive. But these machines did more than sell products, see? They quietly solved real problems, economic, social, and even logistical. In rural areas, they filled gaps, okay, where stores or staff were missing. Vending machines stayed open. Elderly people could buy essentials nearby. Now we're getting elderly people involved here. And obviously, many machines are stocked with emergency food and water, ready for earthquakes or power outages. There you go. And in busy cities, they saved times. They had no lines, no employees, no delays. They had 24/7 access for students, workers, and tourists. And it gets even better. No rent. Oh my gosh. No salaries, just setup, refills, and maintenance. And actually, the farmers benefited too because some machines were able to sell local produce like fruits straight from farms to consumers. See, then they become high tech.
That's just awesome, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, this is surreal. That's why I made the show. Oh, but I'm almost there. You got touchscreen face recognition, contactless payments, yet even old school machines still work flawlessly. Tourists love them. You can buy raiment, you can do toys, beer, or flowers right on the sidewalk. Social impact also counts. Some machines actually donate part of the profits to schools or local causes. Now, get this. You talked about this before during COVID. They kept things moving. Contactless shopping, no crowds, no contact. Japan expanded the network even further. And there you go, Steve. That's the story about vending machines. What stood out to you?
yeah. Hey, I've seen this in the past where tourists are there. It starts to rain. They go to a vending machine. They can get an umbrella or a rain hat or a rain jacket right there on the street. Um, you know, some of their hot food stuff.
Yeah.
Like we wouldn't trust that in this country, but over there, it's like a big thing, and everybody does it. Um, I just think it's awesome, and you know, the one thing about Japanese cities too, I've read about, is how clean they are,
Yeah.
and as you said just a minute ago, I mean, there's very little crime, um, and they're very crowded. You would think, as crowded as some of their big cities are, crime would be a huge issue, but it's really not. They're so far ahead of you know where we are in a lot of different aspects, and hats off to the Japanese.
I'll tell you, when I saw this, I had to put it on this there. I mean, they didn't miss a beat with this. I mean, you name it. The only thing they didn't have was shoes in there and some of the big overcoats. If they could have stuffed them in a vending machine, they would have. Just about everything you could get. Unbelievable. Well, let's take things down to Florida because Florida's new DUI law could land you in prison for 30 years, according to Florida News. Even refusing a breath test can land you in jail. Steve, great move or not?
Look, we just had that huge accident, right?
Right.
Where somebody drove the wrong way on 75 heading south, killed a
Right.
96-year-old man at 4 o'clock this morning.
Wow.
The DUI laws in the state are very, you could almost say draconian, but they need to be. I mean, the old slap on the wrist isn't working. I mean, we see it all the
Right.
time here. People, especially in the Fort Myers area, we have Highway 82, which is really straight and flat, and people are out there at night, drinking and driving, racing. There's accidents in there constantly, and the law just can't keep up with it. They need to be the law needs to be as strict as you can make it, because people are killing other people out there, and that's when it ceases to be the slap on the wrist because you're taking someone's life.
Alcohol is dangerous, let alone the people that drive with too much in it. I agree. And the harder and the stronger you can make these laws, the better off you really, really are. Well, we'll go from one
Uh-huh.
extreme to another extreme. A 92-year-old couple buys a Porsche 992 GT3 for the 70th anniversary, and they're located in the Kingdom. This is a great story too, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, well,
Only
good for them. I mean, God
yeah,
bless them that they're still able to get out there and function like you know, and buying a luxury vehicle like that. They're going to have some fun in it. So
yeah.
hats off to them. I mean, look, you live to be 90 something years old, you drive whatever the heck you want.
I don't blame them. I think it's great stuff. I mean, 70th anniversary, 92-year-old people. Good for them. There are stories like this out there too. All right, well, here's another one that's a little bit controversial in its own right because the Georgia Teacher of the Year finalist sues the district after being removed from a classroom over Charlie Kirk post, which actually said, "Well, I'm sad that we live in a country where gun violence is an epidemic. The world is a bit safer without them." Do you agree or disagree with her statement?
Oh, I you broke up a little there. I missed that.
That's okay. Let me go over it
What
again.
did he
No big
say?
deal.
We live in a yeah.
And the quote says, "Well, I'm sad that we live in a country where gun violence is an epidemic. Okay, the world is a bit safer without them."
Yeah, I don't believe that. I mean, look, Charlie Kirk didn't advocate hate or violence toward anyone. His big thing was, you know, change my mind, and he would encourage people who disagreed with him to come up in
Yeah.
front of him and debate. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, there should be more of that. Excuse me, in this country.
Right.
Um, Look, I understand that a lot of people don't believe in the things that Charlie Kirk did, but at the same time, he didn't advocate violence toward anyone. I mean, I find that it's very typical of today, though, because so many people uh, they're so set in their beliefs
Hmm.
that like anyone who disagrees with them, they have to be violently dealt with, and that I don't know what's wrong with this country, but that's a major problem everywhere. There's no more civilized discourse in this country.
For this lady
You
to be
see it all
removed
the
from the
time.
for this lady to be removed from the classroom, get real. Can't say
Mhm.
what she was saying was totally all wrong, but give me a break. Removing her from a class, I don't know about that part of it, but I agree with everything else she said. I mean, give me a, she was entitled to everybody heard about the right free speech. She was
Mhm.
delivering it. Fortunately, they didn't like it in Georgia.
Yeah.
So Rogan warns that liberal celebration of Kirk's assassination shows that we're closer to civil war when people start rejoicing over someone's death especially in public, killing witnessed by the world and their family, and it reflects disturbing moral decline in the country. This is coming from Joe Rogan, Steve.
Yeah. Once again, I mean, we don't have a great connection tonight. You broke up a little bit, but I get where Joe Rogan was coming from with that. And look, again, it goes to this. I mean, you know, just because somebody has different political or religious beliefs than you, and he's murdered in front of a bunch of people, that's nothing to to celebrate.
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And again, I go back to Charlie Kirk. I mean, he did not advocate violence against anyone, nor anything. There's a lot of stuff that's going on now. I wasn't even a huge Charlie Kirk fan myself, but at the same time, find him dangerous in any way. He had his own personal beliefs, and he was willing to sit and debate with anybody.
Right.
And that again, I go back to the same thing. I know I'm repeating myself, but there should be more of that in this country. And there's no reason to celebrate his murder. I mean, he wasn't a dangerous person.
I hadn't heard of Charlie Kirk until I heard he got assassinated. I didn't even know who he was, pardon me, at all. I don't pay attention to that stuff, but sometimes that's the first time you hear from someone. Then it also becomes big news. So, Steve is Earl Kinsey says, "Who do you think killed him?"
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I mean, no one's answered that yet. But again, it was like you don't like the message, so you murder the person. And unfortunately, it speaks to a larger problem within the United States. I mean, everyone talks about gun violence, but it's not gun violence. And to me, it's the lack of empathy for human life. People are so immune to death now that like the slightest thing, they want to kill somebody over.
Right.
And I don't remember growing up where that was the norm. I mean, of course, there was always people who felt like that, but it seems like there's a lot more of those type of people today in the world that we live in. And it's a sad state of affairs, isn't it, my friend?
Yeah, but social media has had a lot to do with it too. I mean, you think about it, when they start talking about it, then you get everybody going, "Hey, Earl, how you doing?" And so that hasn't helped matters any either. You're right. I mean, everything's such an instant news cycle. It's ridiculous. Well, we're going to go back to your old neck of the woods. We're going to talk a little soccer because Boston reaches a deal for a future MLS stadium for the New England Revolution. The Kraft Group and the cities of Boston and Everett reached agreements. The capacity of the stadium seems to be 25,000. They call it a waterfront stadium and a public park along the Mystic River. The Kraft obviously committed millions toward transit access, local jobs, schools, and community use of it. So,
yeah,
about the New England Revolution and the Krafts finally getting their own place.
That's a great move by Kraft and for the Revolution. They needed their own home.
Right.
The Revolution hate and as well as every other soccer team, they hate playing on that artificial turf.
Right.
They want to play on natural grass. And to answer Earl's question, I was 7th Special Forces Group Earl. So, but back to the Revolution. This is a great move for them. There was an old power station. It was like Boston Edison and Light. It's now abandoned. It's not used anymore.
Right.
The land was going to waste. It was a great spot for it. Kraft is building a nice stadium. It'll hold like 25, 30,000 people, I believe. Mm-hmm. And it's right there along the Mystic. It's a perfect spot for it. It's right off the expressway in Boston. So it'll be easy to get to and from the Revolution games. And look, they needed their own home. I mean, they've been sharing Gillette Stadium with the Patriots, but because the Patriots play on artificial turf, the revolution, they dislike that, as all soccer teams do. And, and right now, Gillette Stadium has natural grass because with the World Cup coming to the United States this year, they tore up the artificial turf and they planted natural grass for the World Cup. But I heard they are going to remove it prior to football season started. I was hoping they would leave the natural grass just for at least 1 year to see how it worked out again.
Yeah, well, like I said, more power to the revolution, and the Krafts obviously put their money in their pocket.
Yeah, I think it was a great move for them. So,
well, guess what,
and,
Steve?
and to Earl, I've what was your dad's name and what years was he there? Because we might have even known each other.
He'll probably answer that. How would you like to be able to do a show, Steve, under 40 minutes? Because that's what we're on pace to do right now. You believe that? Because we're on pace to do it, and we're doing real well with what we have planned.
Well, we're just zipping right through stuff. So.
Okay, yeah, we got a lot of interesting stuff.
Okay, Earl, he was before my time. He did 2 tours in Vietnam. Oh, yeah, I came in. Yeah, he must have been in 7th group after his tour in Vietnam. So.
Yeah, I had an uncle that actually served a tour in Vietnam too, as well. So everybody's familiar with Agent Orange out there. A lot of people were affected by Agent Orange, and that was bad, especially out there. So
yeah.
That was too bad. So, all right. Well, our featured topic of the night is actually jobs with the highest death rates. Why would we do that? Because I'm going to tell you something. There are a lot of people should be recognized that normally don't go ahead and get recognized. And we're going to start it off that pilots and flight engineers, aircraft pilots die at 60 per 100,000 workers. Small aircraft crashes and mechanical failures kill pilots regularly yearly. Some thoughts about that, Steve?
Yeah, and look, I mean, as safe as we've made the aviation industry, and it is safe, there's still a lot of accidents. And look, flying an aircraft is, it's still a dangerous profession. And, with the increase, I believe, in extreme weather events we're having these days, I think that plays into the dangers of it. I think we have much worse storms than we had maybe 25, 30 years ago. The frequency of them is I don't know what it is. It's probably just natural climate change. But look, it's a dangerous business. I've flown in aircraft. I crashed in one when I was in the military. So
wow.
I was able to walk away from it, but it's still a nightmare scenario. And look, I think that stat is probably quite telling.
Wow. Well, it's starting to get better because now we're talking fishermen. Commercial fishing kills about 80 workers per 100,000 annually. Drowning, hypothermia, and equipment accidents cause most of the deaths.
Yeah, I mean, one of the shows I really used to like was Deadliest Catch. I don't know if you ever watched that, but some of those fishermen, they go and some of those waters, especially up by Alaska, that is some dangerous stuff. And you see the weather out there, and the sea is very unforgiving. I mean, up there in Alaska, some of those fish, but they're not big, and the waves out there are incredible. The North Sea is another one. I mean, you look at the fishermen who deal up in the North Sea, between England, Norway, and the Nordic countries up there. I mean, Iceland. The ocean up there is so unforgiving. And hats off to the fishermen. They earn every nickel they make.
Yeah, they sure do. And I look at the pictures of some of these things and what they have to wear to get these things in. You definitely appreciate them, especially when you look at the visuals. A lot of people, when I talk about it, don't have the ability to look at the visuals. I do as I pick them up, but nevertheless, kudos to the fishermen as well. All right, well, garbage collectors, trash collectors, die at 44 per 100,000, with workers being hit by vehicles, falling off trucks, and cause most of the deaths. And bear in mind that some of the more dramatic ones include soldiers, firefighters, and stuntmen. But let's go back to garbage collectors.
Yeah, and at first when you said that garbage collector, I was thinking, wow, wouldn't think that. But then again, okay, you and I, we live in the state of Florida, and the way people drive around here,
Oh
I
yeah,
would not want to be a garbage collector,
no,
not for anything other than people will run you over here without paying attention while they fly down these side streets. And I mean, you can see a garbage truck for blocks, right? It's not like those
right.
things are invisible. There's guys walking, in front or behind that thing, and they're carrying people's, trash cans, right? But it doesn't stop anyone from flying past them, and I see it happen all the time. Uh, our garbage is collected on Tuesdays in my area, and I live on back streets, and I watch people fly by them all the time, and I just shake my head. And yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
See, people
And
like
to
that can't.
Earl, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
That's
get
okay.
off. Earl was in Signal Corps, and he was stationed at Fort Bragg. Excuse me. That's where I was stationed for quite a few years myself. I went through Special Forces training at Fort Bragg. I was in the 7th Group at Fort Bragg, and later on in the country of Panama, well, we still had part of 7th Group deployed down there. So I know Fort Bragg quite well.
See, I took coverage collectors for granted, but then when I read this thing, wow, it's just unbelievable. Well, obviously, on one that is pretty obvious is roofers. Roofers die at 50 per 100,000 from falls. Most deaths happen falling off roofs or through structures.
Yep. And again, I mean, you know, uh, I did one winter of roofing for a friend of mine
Did you?
who had his own roofing company. I had just got out of the military. I was between jobs. He needed some help one winter in the state of New Hampshire, and he had to tell you that was some cold, windy work up there because it
Yeah,
was off Lake Winnipesaukee, and that was one winter I wouldn't care to relive.
yeah. I'll tell you what they're showing here is actually a roofer
Mhm.
who's holding on to one of those things that holds them up, washing windows or whatever on one of those high rises. And boy, that's a scary thought when you're. This looks like a picture that was actually taken in New York City. All right, well, let's talk about logging workers. This is one that most people don't even think about. Logging is the highest death rate of any job, 100 deaths per 100,000 from falling trees annually. I mean, that's bad.
Yeah, yeah, and again, I mean, we think of loggers, but the trees that those guys cut down are
Yeah,
incredibly large. And I mean, again, that's a dangerous job. You have guys that, cutting them down. Uh, I'm sure they have plenty of accidents with saws and some of the machines that they use. And I remember actually when I was in Special Forces, I was in a jungle camp that we had in Bolivia. And one night, just as it was getting dark, a logging truck came in because one of the loggers that they cut down mahogany trees down there. Um, that when they cut down these big sections of mahogany trees, they would put them on a big flatbed, and they
hmm,
throw a chain over the top, and they had a cable. The
right.
cable snapped and hit the guy right under the chin, and it didn't kill him, but it peeled his face completely off.
Oh my God!
His skin was hanging by a thread, and it
Wow.
looked like you ever see those pictures of the medical profession skeletons where they have all the musculature in the eyes? That's
Yeah,
what this
yeah.
guy looked like.
Wow.
And our medic was able to get the guy's face sewn back on enough. It wasn't quite all the way straight, but enough to get him to a serious hospital. And I'll never forget that. And again, hats off to the loggers because that's a dangerous job.
I can only imagine how many surgeries a guy had. Earl Kinsey says, I wasn't jumping out of no airplane. I don't blame you. All right. Well, here's one that now this one does make more
I
sense
love
to me.
jumping out of airplanes. Now, I'm a I climbed when I was in the Army. This will make no sense, right?
Right.
I climb mountains. I love jumping out of airplanes, but I'm petrified of heights. Okay.
Yeah.
But I
You
did
know,
all the stuff that scared the heck out of me. And my wife thinks it's so hilarious that I do not like getting on a step ladder to go up on the roof to clean out whatever, you know. And she was like, a paratrooper with 400 jumps out of airplanes, and you don't like that on a step ladder? No, I do not.
I used to not mind heights, but as I get older, I don't like them anymore. Two more to go.
No,
Two
don't
more to
like
go.
heights. But
Two more to go. Got
yeah.
truck drivers have 26 deaths per 100,000 from vehicle crashes, long hours, fatigue, highway accidents, cause deaths. Now this one doesn't surprise me. I'm surprised there aren't a lot more compared to the other ones. I actually thought about wanting to be a truck driver at some point, but when you're talking about fatigue,
Yep.
I get it. What about you?
It's a real thing. And look, I mean, the owner operators of today, I mean, they're under so much pressure. I mean, because it's hard to make a living driving a truck these days, and they push it. They drive when they should be sleeping, and a lot of times they drive way too fast. I mean, we've seen it, and with the traffic nowadays, in all the urbanized areas, and again, the other drivers are just as bad when it comes to truck drivers. But
All right.
Hey, I totally buy that one as well.
Our last one's construction workers. Construction has 25 deaths per 100,000 workers yearly. Falls include electrocution. With that one being struck by all objects, it kills most workers. That makes a lot of sense. You might even see some of those on stadiums. I've seen those from time to time.
Mhm.
But overall, the electrocution part is big. Some thoughts about construction workers.
Oh yeah, because look, I think there was something recently in the news about, they were building a big new building, and when they do that, the foundation for these big high rises, they're really deep into the ground, and they were digging a deep hole
Right.
to put the foundation in for a big. I think it was going to be a 7 or 8 story building, and the trench or whatever collapsed on some workers, and I know at least one guy lost his life. And then you have other accidents, scaffolding accidents that are involved in the construction industry. I mean, yeah, it goes on and on. So I'm not surprised by that one at all.
Let's bring Katie Ebling in the fix here, and let's talk about some of these jobs. Any of them strike for you about which one seems the most dangerous?
It doesn't surprise me. Sometimes we don't think of some of the dangers that are involved in some of these jobs. You think of, let's say a nurse, and with a patient, if like she gets jabbed by the wrong thing, I mean, you just, and yeah, garbage collectors down here in Florida. Oh my goodness. Drivers. I think about like the community that we live in and how people are parking right on the street, right up to the grass, because you can't park on the grass, and then you got this garbage truck weaving in and out, and then you're trying to pass them because you got to get to work, and then there's someone behind you going quick or coming around the corner, like they're coming around the corner, and it's like, wow, yeah, there's some dangers you don't think of always. Well,
I was just watching the thing on the news tonight, Candy, where they were talking about this one neighborhood where there's such a big amount of traffic on the main drag, where all these construction vehicles and heavy, semi types and huge dump trucks that are not designed for these back streets. They're flying through this one particular neighborhood. It was on the news tonight, and people are going way too fast down this little side street where kids are getting on school buses and getting off school buses and walking home. It's crazy around here.
It is. And add to it that, you would think people would know they would have learned how to drive in the rain down in Florida, but they don't. They don't.
Yeah,
Florida has adopted the worst drivers in 49 other states. I mean, I thought Boston drivers were horrible until I moved here. And when I moved here permanently, I was like, nope, Boston is not the worst place anymore.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I'm on the inside a lot these days because I'm really kind of forced to be. But I remember the bad drivers in Florida a lot, and I do as little with it as I can. Our final topic of the night actually takes us to Turkey. And we're going to have some fun with this one too. And if you thought vending machines were interesting, let's talk about Turkish people and what they do. Okay, Turkish people celebrate oil wrestling as a national sports team. Oil wrestling is a national sport. My goodness, Candy, you want to stand for this one? Come on.
Sure.
What do you think of oil wrestling as a national sport?
It takes a lot to do wrestling, but you said oil wrestling?
Yeah, oil wrestling, Candy. Things get a little slippery.
They do.
Is it baby oil wrestling or like motor oil wrestling?
Yeah, either way.
Either way, you're slippery, but you'd have to be very in shape to do wrestling, especially slippery oil wrestling.
All right, I'm gonna talk about this and probably in very unflattering terms for myself. However, when I was in the military, they had a big event at a gentleman's club where they invited GIs to oil themselves down and wrestle strippers and in front of all your friends. And it was quite the atmosphere. And I'm telling you, the GIs lost all the time.
Wow.
So
don't worry, they get better than this.
Oil wrestling is, I guess it's a thing. Because I've been to one of those, but it was. I did not partake in that myself, but I was a willing spectator.
I give you that, man. I'd be a willing spectator. The way they slip out of the way, you never know where they're gonna slip your way too. I'm having a lot of fun with the oil part of this whole thing.
Yeah, and I mean, because you have no leverage, you can't really hold on to anything. It's like one of those things you just have to get in a bear hug and pray for the best. So.
No, don't worry, it gets better than that. So Turkish people invented the famous ice cream that stretches and doesn't melt fast. All right, Steve, what are your thoughts about stretches and doesn't melt fast?
Yeah, I'd be very leery about that because any ice cream that doesn't melt fast, I think that would be probably not very good for you. I mean, they tell you all the time you shouldn't eat ice cream anyway. But look, I just saw another article in the New England Journal of Medicine where they were saying that, ice cream made from frozen yogurt is supposedly more healthy than people thought. Yeah. But ice cream that doesn't melt probably has some kind of chemicals in it that isn't conducive to your long-term health. That's just a guess on my part. I'm not a doctor. I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Well, it says it stretches and doesn't melt fast. So I don't know what kind of chemicals they're putting in that. That's for sure. Yeah. Candy?
It reminds me of something like silly putty if it stretches like that. And who wants to eat silly putty?
That's almost what it seems like. Oh, don't worry.
The funny thing is, when I was a kid, even now, when kids had Play-Doh, I loved the smell of Play-Doh.
All right.
when some kids get Play-Doh for their birthday, I always grab the thing and take a big whiff of it. But no, I wouldn't eat it. I mean,
Count me out. And
Yeah,
I love
no.
regular ice cream.
Yeah.
oh, I love ice cream, but ice cream that doesn't melt, I think I'd take a pass.
Well, and doesn't and stretch too. All right, Turkey, you can find an entire city built underground. Now that wouldn't surprise me at all over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
That-
yeah.
Uh,
They built over the top of cities. I've heard that. I've seen pictures, but I've never been there. That's one country I've never been to is Turkey.
most
I've heard
of them.
really good things about it. I know a lot of people that have been there, but I would like to see where the city is built underground.
Yeah, I mean, some of these things that I mentioned earlier were far fetched. Some of the stuff that we're seeing out here, I'd like to see them in person. That's why when I look at all these travel things that are going to be on our show, Steve, since you've been all over the place, I just figured I'd take these two and see what we can do with them. All right, so Candy, anything you want to add to that, or you want me to keep flying through? We get the sports exchange.
Well, all I would say is if the whole city is underground, it would be like a big bunker and you would be more protected from some of the elements. Like you wouldn't have weather elements down there, really. It'd be very interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
good,
that's true. But I mean, the vitamin D angle about sunshine, that you'd be a little lacking there. You'd have a bunch of pale-looking people.
yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Well,
Yes.
it's no different than living up north when
Yeah, that's true. I
When
mean,
you don't
I
have sun and
lived in
it's
New
gray all
Hampshire.
these years, you don't get the vitamin D there.
Yeah, in the middle of winter in New Hampshire, I look like the belly of a flounder. So
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Those people that come down to get suntans on, they're white. They're white until they get to where they want to be. All right, so
Yeah.
Turkish people eat breakfast with 20 different small dishes. Gosh, 20 different small dishes. Okay, I'm not a cook. What do you think? Anybody have a comment, or you want me to read some of these, or just keep moving through them?
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, all right, let's go. Candy.
Yeah, I don't know either. Go ahead.
All right, let's keep going. Turkish people created the first known coins in history. Candy, you're a banker.
I did not know that.
No,
Yeah, we'll
I
call
didn't
that
know that either. I thought, yeah, that would have been someplace else. But hey, that's a good one. I mean, I didn't know that. That's a good trivia question right there.
Now, see, I got news for you. We aim to educate and inform, and this show that we have, Steve, will do exactly that.
Learn something new every day.
Every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, people, I will make sure I come up with stuff that you don't learn anything that I haven't done my job. All right, Turkish people once believed tulips were sacred flowers. All right, Candy.
I will say that they do come up in spring. They're a sign of fresh beginnings, and I mean, at least up in the north, like down here in Florida, we don't see tulips, but up north you would, and that would be one of the first signs of spring that
Yep.
something is new, and so I can kind of see where that might be a symbol of wealth and spiritual significance.
Yeah,
so.
I think that it's like a rebirth. The world takes a rebirth. Page out every spring. I buy that.
Hey, Earl, if you can get in
yeah,
if you can get in at 7, you should take a look at the show that we have with the horse show with the nonprofit at 7 p.m. And now we have a triple header. Yeah, it is pretty surreal though, isn't it, Steve? With all these tulips and all this. Yeah, and Wednesday night
Yep.
we like to keep it different here. We start off with that one. That became our recent ad. We have our show, Steve, and then we have the sports exchange. So I have news for you. We've got some pretty good variety here. So if they were sacred flowers, I'll go to another sacred topic called in Turkey, all eye charms are seen everywhere for protection. And I repeat, eye charms, whatever they are. Candy?
I'm not sure what odd charms are.
Yeah.
Turkish.
I'm drawing a blank on that one myself.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
all
the
right.
evil eye. They
Oh,
have
that
a
was
variety of charms and talisman, most famously the Nazar, which is an evil eye designed to protect against evil, malice, and bad luck.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there. Okay. Leave it
Yeah.
for a Craig
That was
research
like
event.
the gargoyles of medieval times.
Yeah.
Everyone thought the gargoyles were evil, right? And people in the modern world would wonder why, they built all these evil ogres and gargoyles and whatnot, and turns out that was to protect humans from the bad stuff. So, all
Thanks,
right,
Earl.
I'll buy that one. Hey, the Turks, they got a lot going on, right?
Oh yeah, well don't worry, I'm not done yet. Thanks, Earl. Appreciate it. Because in Turkey there's a lake full of flamingos. How do you like that? A lake full of flamingos, people.
In Turkey,
A lake full of flamingos.
how about that? That's another one I didn't know about. Chalk that one up. That's a good one, Scott.
Yeah.
I would have never thought they had flamingos in Turkey.
Yeah, I didn't either. That's why when I saw it, it really blew me away.
It's
I got a lot of these things.
It's
coming
called
up.
Lake Tuz, Tuz. And each spring, thousands of greater flamingos gather there to breed in the shallow, salty water. So, yeah, interesting.
How about that?
Mhm.
Oh, I got one more to go with Turkey, and then we go.
This is getting even better.
Oh, I got one more to go. So Turkish people celebrate Children's Day as a national holiday. God love them for doing that.
Yes.
Look at all these things that you have. But now we got Children's Day, people, as a national holiday. I like what they're doing there.
Yeah,
all right.
And, I mean, I pride myself on being a child 99% of the time. So, we grow older, Scott, but we don't grow up. So, I like that they have a national holiday for Children's Day.
I think it's awesome. I really do.
It's on April 23rd, and it features parades, school performances, and traditions where children symbolically take over government roles, including the presidency.
Yeah, I remember when we used to do that, like Student Government Day in the United States. They got away from that, and I like that. I mean, when I was a kid, I wanted to be the mayor for a day, but I don't know what I would have done, but I just wanted to sit behind his desk,
Oh, I got to give the children their respect. And I'll tell you what, Turkey obviously got it right there. So
yeah,
get more used to a lot of what I threw out there today. We talk politics and issues when we have to. I call this more like a current event show, not so much politics. Obviously, I didn't say anything political about what we did with Japan, talking about vending machines, and now we're talking about everything that's good about Turkey. And we got to see a lot, and then we get to see an underground city or whatever they call it. So unbelievable stuff. And yes, we had a little revolution that I call the New England Revolution, and the dangerous jobs. Well, this is a show I hope everybody had an opportunity to learn a lot about. So with that said, as we get ready to wrap up, we get the Sports Machine top of the hour. Steve, why don't you please let everybody know how they get a hold of you?
Yes, and again, I love this Wednesday show because everything is so different, and it's off the hook. We're going as it happens. I love it. But you can find me on all social media at SteveB7SFG. I write for PatsFans.com, covering the NFL. I also am a senior national defense editor at National Security Journal. And if you're into military stuff or military affairs and different military equipment, then look me up because I write about that every single day.
See, Steve, I've been thinking about doing this Wednesday show for a while. I just needed you to help me pull it off. And now we have Candy every now and then to go out there and add a few little odds and ends. But this Wednesday show was fun. And what we did before the show was fun. So get ready for Molly Murphy, who's on our network, because she did a really, really good job as well. So we have a lot of interesting things that are rolling. Wednesday night's different. Yeah, let's face it. Monday and Tuesday are serious because you have baseball and you have football. You got to get as much in as you can there. And then, of course, Thursday we have hockey and soccer combined, and we have some great crews there. and Sports Exchange afterwards. Here we'll have a lot of interesting stuff, and I've revamped that crew quite a bit. So, but this is the one where we can just have some fun, a couple little one-on-ones. You and I could come up with every off-the-wall thing imaginable, and we're going to incorporate only the big NBA topics on this one because I have to recruit some more basketball people, but even Steve and I could talk about some of these other ones. But the other people are good at what they do, so more power to them.
Right.
It's all about variety. Sorry, Steve.
Before we go, Earl asked me one more question, and he
Sure.
said, what was your best drop zone at Fort Bragg? Well, being that my family is from Sicily, Sicily drop zone. Sicily drop zone was the biggest one. It was the flattest one. It had the least amount of obstacles on it. And, we were talking about Turkey, right? Well, Turkey, Istanbul used to be called Constantinople. At one point, about 1,000 years ago, it was the seat of the Holy Roman Empire. Well, the Holy Roman Empire had the emperor, I should say, he had a personal bodyguard of 10,000 Vikings.
Oh.
And after the Moors took Sicily, he sent the Varangian Guard, his Vikings, to Sicily. They stayed there for several years. They reconquered the country. And my DNA from that goes all the way back. Even though I am Sicilian, I am part Viking. And that's where it comes from. So Turkey and Sicily all blended in together tonight. So
it worked out pretty well. All right, so Steve, why don't you go out there? I don't know if I asked you again, but do it again anyway. Let everybody know they get a hold of you.
Yeah, you can find me on social media at SteveB7SFG. I write for PatsFans.com and the National Security Journal. And Scott, this is always a lot of fun. And to Earl, I like Normandy Drop Zone too. And that was a good one. And the one out of Camp McCall was obviously the one I used the most.
Well, don't worry. Next Wednesday, I'll make it even more fun. I have a lot of things I'm going to work on for the next Wednesday show. I'm glad you enjoyed these topics, Steve. All right, Candy, take us home the rest of the way. We have the Sports Exchange coming up very shortly.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. Talks about his 40-plus years in the media business and how it has evolved. Go get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. If you're an audiobook person, you can find it there too, so go check it out. There's a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there's a great many things on there, so go to that website and check it out. If you like to listen to the podcast, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. Last but not least, if you see that red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, that means you have not yet subscribed to us. I honestly don't know what you're waiting for. Just do it. Click it, like it, share us with all your friends and family, and then turn on your notifications so you're notified every time we go live. One last plug. Definitely go to our YouTube channel and check out some of the videos we have been putting up there. Scott and I have been going to spring training games, and Scott's been doing some interviews of different players, different coaches, and the best one he has yet is the last one he put up of him and Don Mattingly. So go check out the YouTube channel and the videos.
Yeah, talk to him on Sunday. We'll have a lot of things coming on from Donnie throughout.
Johnny Baseball.
Unbelievable. He's an unbelievable person too. He's been a good friend of mine since for at least over 40 years. So every time I get a chance to speak out, we'll catch up with him. He's more than happy to give me some time. I love Don. He's like a brother to me as well. You know where
That's awesome.
Yeah, Steve Ballester would be writing the forward for the next book as well. But see, Steve, I told you this Wednesday show was really an easy show, and I'm glad that you're enjoying it because I enjoy putting stuff together.
Yeah, and this is a blast. I mean, because this is different than the normal podcast where everything is so structured and ahead of time where we're going to talk about this, transition to that. I love this. This is all off the cuff, and you don't share any of this with me prior to the show, which makes it even more.
And
'Cause I
that's
never
why we have a
thought-
good time with it because, I know it's one of those exercises. You're not a robot. You just have to think on your feet. And God only knows you have been doing it for a long time. And with these travel subjects, that definitely feeds into your wheelhouse, SB. So, but
Yeah.
don't worry. We'll see if we can do better next week on Wednesday at 8:00 Eastern Time. Motor City Mad Mouse Show. Scott and Steve here, and we bring Candy in too to talk about some of the most off the wall things I can come up with. So, Earl, hoping to see you in the 9 o'clock hour. But thanks a lot for being on, Earl. You're almost like the fourth person here in the studio, and we love Earl. Kinsey is really big time as far as I'm concerned. So that does it here for the Motor City Mad Mouse Show on behalf of Candy, Steve, and myself, Scott, the Motor City Mad Mouse. Thanks very much. Sports Exchanges coming up next. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, guys.